Story title: When Eyes Spoke. What words couldn't? Have you ever locked eyes with someone, and for a moment everything around you disappeared? The noise, the crowd, even time itself gone. Just two souls, suspended in silence, communicating through something deeper than language. That's how Aiden's story began. Not with words, not with a handshake, but with a single unbroken stare. It was a rainy evening in October. The cafe was crowded, the kind of cozy chaos that makes strangers brush elbows and hearts accidentally collide. Aiden sat by the window, sketching in his worn-out notebook. He wasn't an artist by profession. He was a quiet man who fixed broken things for a living. Computers, radios, clocks, but never people. He'd learned long ago that fixing hearts wasn't as simple as tightening a screw, and that's when she walked in. Mara, a woman with a face that carried both beauty and mystery, as if she had known both love and loss in equal measure. She ordered her coffee, black, no sugar, and scanned the room for a seat. The only empty chair was across from Aiden. "Is this seat taken?" she asked softly. Aiden looked up, and that was the moment everything changed. Their eyes met just for a heartbeat, and suddenly the room faded. It wasn't attraction in the simple, predictable sense. It was recognition, like seeing someone you've never met, yet somehow always known. She sat. He nodded, no words, just silence that felt strangely comfortable. As minutes turned to an hour, they exchanged small talk, but it was the silences between the sentences that spoke the loudest. Her eyes lingered on him when she smiled, and his stayed just a moment too long when she looked away. And that's where the first hidden message was born. Hidden message 1. I'm attracted to you, but I can't say it. Every time their gazes met, it carried warmth, a soft, unspoken pull. Her eyes would light up, his breath would catch, and both would look away with a nervous laugh. Neither said anything, but their eyes told the truth neither dared to admit. Over the next few weeks, they met again and again, sometimes by accident, sometimes by choice. Each encounter felt like déjà vu, and every time, their eyes said more than their voices ever could. But one evening, as the sun dipped behind the city skyline, Mara seemed distant. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Her laughter felt forced, Aiden noticed. He always noticed. When he asked if everything was okay, she simply nodded. But her eyes said otherwise. Hidden message 2. I'm trying to understand you. That night, as they sat under dim cafe lights, Aiden held her gaze a little longer, not out of curiosity but care. He was searching, listening without words. "Are you sure you're all right?" he asked gently. For a moment she looked away, then back again. Her eyes shimmered not with reflection but with emotion. "I'm fine," she whispered. But her gaze said, "I'm breaking inside and I don't know how to say it." And in that silent exchange, Aiden understood. So he didn't push. He didn't demand explanations or promises. He simply said, "I'm here." And she smiled, a sad, grateful smile that said more than thank you ever could. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly their unspoken bond deepened into something fragile yet profound. But as it often happens, when hearts begin to open, so do wounds. One night, after a long walk by the riverside, Mara confessed what her eyes had been hiding all along. "My husband died 2 years ago," she said, her voice trembling. "Since then, I haven't been able to look anyone in the eyes. Until you." Aiden froze. The weight of her words sank deep. And then came the third hidden message. Hidden message 3. I'm feeling emotionally exposed. Her eyes, usually calm and guarded, now glistened with raw vulnerability. She wasn't just sharing her past. She was handing him her pain, her fear, her hope. Aiden didn't interrupt. He didn't look away. He simply met her gaze and let silence do the talking. That silent moment stretched. Two souls, both broken in different ways, finding comfort in being seen. When she finally smiled through tears, he smiled back. Not the kind of smile that fixes everything, but the kind that says, you don't have to be alone anymore. Months passed. Their connection grew stronger, but not without storms. One evening, during an argument about something trivial, Aidan saw a different look in her eyes. Cold, sharp, defensive. Hidden message for, I want to control or intimidate you. It wasn't love in that stare. It was fear disguised as anger. Trauma speaking through eyes that once only knew loss. I can't lose control again, she snapped. Eyes locked on his. Aidan recognized it, the same gaze he used to see in his own reflection after his father's death. That desperate need to control the world because it once fell apart. He didn't fight back. Instead, he looked at her, not with anger, but understanding. You don't need to fight me, Mara, he said quietly. I'm not the storm. I'm just someone trying to stand with you in it. Her eyes softened. The tension broke. Tears followed. And just like that, silence became healing again. Time passed. Seasons changed. The cafe by the window remained their unspoken meeting place. And though life eventually led them down separate paths, that connection never really faded. Because when two souls truly see each other, they don't forget. Years later, Aidan would still remember that first gaze. That slow-motion moment where time stood still and two strangers spoke an entire lifetime without a single word. Final message. Eye contact is not just about looking, it's about seeing. Seeing the truth behind the smile, the fear behind the anger, the love behind the silence. It's a language older than words, more honest than speech, and more powerful than we realize. So the next time someone holds your gaze, don't look away too soon. There might be a story in their eyes waiting to be heard. A story like Aidan and Mara's, where everything began not with words, but with a single unforgettable look.